How's it going, bros? It's your boy Kyrandis here. So today's just the first impression about ArcheAge. But first off, I gotta get in queue here and probably wait about 3 to 4 hours before I get to play for a game I paid for. Obviously, this is just a first impression, so it's not really a review of the game. Those are two very different things. This is just play the game for maybe about, I'd say, actively 6 or 7 hours in total in the past week. Obviously, they added more servers as it went through, but that's really unhelpful considering I started this game with a bunch of friends and I actually wanted to kind of play all on the same server. So yeah, obviously this is pretty frustrating in the first week where I have to leave the game running and it pretty much soaks up about 3 gigs of memory or 2 gigs or whatever, and kind of leaves my computer whirring with other games in the background I'm playing while I'm waiting for this queue to go through. Hopefully ArcheAge obviously will deal with this, because this just continues further disinterest in my game because it really takes this long to go play the game. Best times to log in is really like 4:30 a.m. in the morning, or like 5 or 7 when everybody's sleeping, when there's no queue, so it's just instantaneous login. Or you could be like a bunch of these papagas here sitting in the AFK in the judge's chambers where you're waiting for jury duty and essentially you won't get kicked out of the game for sitting in there. It's obviously pretty funny. It says wait time here is now 60 minutes. I don't trust this thing because this has literally gone for 2 hours before. So approximately plus or minus 1 hour from there. So maybe I could instantly log in or just get out of here 2 hours later. Yeah, I mean, I might leave this going for about an hour. Generally, I just kind of run and go play around at Dota and come back and maybe I'm almost there. But last week, it was anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours just to get in. I'm pretty sure other people in the same boat within this launch are equally just as frustrated for something they paid for. Fortunately, I'm not really taking this too strong. I'm just kind of casually going in here. So yeah, this is a first impression of the game. This is part of the experience, is this login here. That's why I've literally not stopped talking about this for nearly 2 minutes. But once I log into the game, I'll go further into it, so I'll see you all in an hour. Or more. It suddenly went from 60 minutes to greater than 1 hour. Oh. So, I can't fake this shit. Alright, so I've finally made it into the game. It was the 2.5 hour plus wait time there for what was approximated as 1, so it wasn't wrong with that estimation. Character creation, I can't really create any characters because it's kind of capped out on this server at the moment, so I'm not going to bother. But in terms of like graphics, ArcheAge looks, it's good enough to me. I don't really care too much about graphics. I mean, it's a bonus, but this is actually quite nice already. Though the lighting does make a huge difference, as I've seen my character in the dark and she looks nothing like what I customized her, which is a little weird. Let's just jump into it. I also don't understand why, like, I'm in borderless window mode, but there's still a huge border, so there's something weird about the settings. DirectX 11 seems to crash more often than usual for about, like, a game that's been out for quite a while is also strange, so I have to go on DX9. Because if you crash, it's back to the 2 hour wait. It's pretty stupid, but yeah. In terms of gameplay here, this place is in active war. I don't actually even know what happens, so if I just get killed on screen here, that's alright. I don't really know what's going on. I've kind of casually traversed the game for about 6 or 7 hours, not really knowing what anything is going on, and I think that's actually quite nice that I've still been able to progress to 36 like this. I've chosen the classes of pretty much to be in a theme, which is the mix-up of these 3 classes together. There are different classes of quite a big number of them. I think there's 11 classes that you can combine in permutations of 3, so it's like, you know, over 220 some odd combinations. I don't really know too much about it, but like other than that, it kind of gives me a feel of what Guild Wars 1 was like and what part of Guild Wars 2 was like. So this is actually kind of reminiscent in terms of that form of strategy and simulation towards progression. I actually quite enjoy that quite a lot. I don't mind too much that this isn't like, you know, more than this. This is already quite enough. Combat itself, I find is kind of is tab targeting. I don't really mind it, but it's like in terms of mechanics, it feels like things actually operate as much better as they should. If I wanted to draw reference to other games, definitely Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 is what this feels like. But I don't really know other than that. Obviously, you people know I play Black Desert Online as well. Combat in Black Desert Online is obviously far better, but the mechanics in Black Desert Online like frustrate the hell out of me. Whereas this is like the combat isn't as good as Black Desert Online, but the mechanics seem like they operate as such, so I wouldn't even be frustrated, which is actually probably better anyways. I want the game to perform as it should rather than seemingly like it should perform a certain way and never does. So far that's kind of good. So that obviously means combat pace is somewhat slower, but that might just be my class, so obviously I don't know very much about this game. This is just a first impression, very brief. There shouldn't be anything in-depth about it in this video. If there is, then that means this should be regarded as a review instead, but it's not. The game is huge. MMOs are very hard to review. First impressions are generally far more easier to express. So like in terms of combat, so far it's mostly just been like one-on-one battles with like mobs. I haven't really like encountered anything that that's pretty much like more than a few enemies. My class is kind of weird. I only got like 2 or 3 attacks really, and I really just gotta buff myself up before I do damage. So my class is pretty much a healer. I'm wearing like clothes for armor, and class is like really squishy. But then like I don't know, I don't really know what I'm doing with my skills here, other than the fact that I know I can blow up all these things in like one shot once I'm fully buffed. Like right now I'm currently fully buffed, and then I'm probably just gonna nuke like all 3 of these things before I get killed. Alright, so this is like my one blast off skill. Boom! Okay, and they're all dead before I die. And that's kind of how I'm grinding right now. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but it seems to work out with what I thought and put in mind. And things are going okay. You've got like combat pets in this game. You've got a mount as well. They can follow you around. The combat pet actually does help you fight, which is nice. It's got its own skills. I don't really know too much about putting it into control yet, as well as the skill bars. You have multiple skill bars. Kind of a songstress right now. In terms of the game features, though, seems to be a lot of things going on. I'll give a summary of it at the end of this video of what I think and feel in general, but I'm briefly just going over each one. There's like even another skill tree. I don't even know how to do this. This looks like more advancement towards the skills you already have. So it looks like some kind of prestige evolve thing for your current skills for more mix and match. Emotions. I pretty much play against the emotes and RP sometimes, but not all the times. Proficiency. Life skilling in this game looks like it's got a lot to go about. Even with the brief mentions between my friends about land ownership and building a house, it sounds like a very nice, complicated system, or at least an advanced system towards a lot of detail in building things. And then there's like jury duty and other things too. So I really feel like combat is only a small peak of this game. I feel like if I were to gauge it in percentages of gameplay, combat maybe takes up 33% of it, and then the other 66% is like all other things. Most of the time I've just been questing, really. The world is pretty big. It's not really an instance maps, which is nice. I was actually kind of afraid that these were instance maps, but they're actually fully connected. So it is actually one huge world just sectioned off into maps, which is far different. If people have played drawing reference from Blade and Soul or Tree of Savior here, for instance, those are instance maps. Even though the world is seemingly connected by the maps, this is actually one continuous loop. So you can just run through from one end of this map and it will directly go into this map. And there won't be any load screen or anything, which is good. So that means it is a contiguous map, or a continuous map. Other than that, there's definitely a lot of things to do. I don't even know how to get into the oceans yet. There's a lot of like world teleportations, things that I haven't really looked into. That's because I'm not really too committed into this game. I just kind of jumped into this like a smelling the roses kind of thing, not so much trying to get top tier or anything. I'm just running around looking what's around, what's new, what's this game like, why is everybody hyped about it, sort of thing. So my hype is kind of just neutral about the game. I'm not excited and I'm not exactly bored. Obviously the first troubles was in the beginning of the video, is just queuing up for the game. It's within the first week of launch is when this video was made, so I'm not exactly sure how far that queue lineup will go for. Hopefully it doesn't persist for more than 2 weeks, because that would still be really awful. I don't know why they added more servers, rather than just increasing the cap on the server. That might have to do with something to do with the land spaces and everything. I assume these are like people building places here. This was not here like a few days ago, so people might be plotting land here and eventually building houses or whatever. I don't really care too much about that. It sounds neat, but it also sounds like a lot of effort and a lot of trouble. So I'm just going to kind of continuously play as a support and just be a full-on healer, because it seems like nobody wants to play it and everybody's looking for DPS and tank or whatever. And healer and support, nobody's playing it. So literally, I think like even in the nation chat or whatever here. So other than that, I feel like, yeah, combat is not too bad. I don't want to make this video that long, and there's definitely a lot of things I don't know about. Oh, and costumes, of course. Oh, and the stats window. There's a lot going on with the character's stats. So clearly there's definitely a very probably something to do with all the gem slots and everything in your gear, and then how they can, what grade and what level they are and whatever. But from what I've heard from just opinions of other players and friends alike, gearing is not aids in this game, so it's actually should be fairly lenient, which is nice because there's so many combinations. I figured a lot of people will probably want to experiment different combinations put together. So if gearing up isn't complete aids, then that's probably why. And then the cash shop, we've got like some things here that I looked at. I wasn't too really alarmed by anything on the cash shop here. Some of them look like some nice items. Something like these pets or whatever. I don't really know how strong they are. I assume they're possibly quite powerful, but I don't even know how to get the diligence, as this is not a cash item credit. And then the credits over here, we got gender swap, salon, mostly cosmetics, consumables. I don't know what this is. Wardrobe. There's 8 pages of costumes to look through. I think the best one was the one that gave me a cube head, which was this one for some reason. So I don't know what's going on there. And then these pets here are probably like house pets. I don't really know. Housing. Looks like some of this is just for, like, you know, decking out your place, which is kind of cool. I don't mind that as a cash shop item. These gliders, I think these are just like fusions to make them skins for your glider. Dances are quite expensive. Event, I don't really know. This is like Halloween. I didn't really look at any of this stuff because most of the time I'm not playing this game too often due to the long queue time. I might pick it up a bit more as the queue time's lower down, but other than that, so far my experience in ArcheAge is just rather calm. So really, in conclusion, first impressions, I hope they fix that queue, because really a poor launch will almost kill any game. It doesn't even matter if it's like good 2-3 years later, unless they have like some sort of relaunch. A lot of games I played has always died due to just a shitty launch. That queue time is horrendous, and like really it's just awful. Other than that though, the game seems alright. I don't really feel like there's any huge pay to win thingy going on, and that's it. Graphics are decent enough. Like I said, lighting in game looks kind of different from my character select window. Doesn't seem too different, but other than that, I'm not sure. Yeah, my mount looks kind of funny, and my dog is pretty cute. He looks pretty majestic. Yeah, he looks alright. Other than that though, thanks so much for watching this first impression. I'll check you out later. Bye bye for now. Peace.